Hola, señor. ¿Cómo estás? Welcome back to another episode of Not Another Formula One podcast. The podcast where I don't really give a shit anymore. Anyways, the world's going to an end. But at least we have the new Formula One movie. Guys, I'm going to talk about this for a little bit. So, if you've been, hiding under a rock for the past 2 years, Joseph Kosinski, I think the director of Top Gun Maverick, got the support of Apple and the actual Mercedes team. Hold on, what the fuck is my cat doing right now, dude? I'm really sorry about that. Anywho, as I was saying, so they were supported by Apple and the real life Mercedes team, and made a fictional story based in the real world of the 2023 Formula One season. So it's like Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, I come out for a Brad Pitt movie. I don't go to the movies much. But Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem, get out of the car, please, sir. Step out of the car, please, sir. So Sonny Hayes, retired driver for 30 years, star to be but never was, or something like that. After winning the 24 Hours of Daytona, which was a great scene, let me tell you. I swear to God, you could probably put Led Zeppelin's "Whole Lot of Love" to any movie scene, and some old white dad's gonna go, hell yeah. That old white dad was me. I in fact was like, hell yeah, because the engines kick in, and you got that. You need woman love. Anyways, very epic stuff. So he wins the 24 hours of Daytona. And, a guy named Ruben, Javier Bardem's character, approaches him and he's like, hey, I got a Formula One team. There's 9 races left. The car is shit. And I only have one rookie driver. You wanna drive it for me? And he's like, I'll think about it. But he does it anyway. Of course, he shows up to this testing in Silverstone, to which he botches it. Now, I'm not gonna get into the whole movie here, but fair enough to say that this was very much the casual fans movie. Very much a dad kind of movie. I mean, Brad Pitt kind of gives daddy vibes in a way. But yeah, it was a visually stunning movie for what it's worth. And now I didn't see it in IMAX, but I did see it in a Regal premiere experience theater, which was pretty nice. Not very nice, my Regal experience, was the Apex GP helmet popcorn buckets, to which I did not get one, not a single one, because apparently that cinema only ordered 19 of them. So that's tough luck for me. The movie, too much crashing. Quite a lot of crashing. The sitting duck move that he pulled in the first race at Silverstone. The purposeful shithousery to score points. Like in the Hungary scene where he purposefully loses 3 front wings. Surely he'd gotten a black and white flag, or a lot of penalties, surely something, but it's a movie. The crash at Monza, where Joshua, the rookie, hits that sausage curb and goes flying. I don't know what the hell made them do something like that. I mean, similar crashes, I guess, have happened in the past, but this was the most Michael Bay goddamn crash I've ever seen. And of course the character, he's in a fully on fire car. The Brad Pitt guy gets out of his car. Sonny Hayes gets a fire extinguisher from a steward, puts it out, saves the guy, and he only gets burns on his wrists, which has to be some kind of homage to the Robin Grosjean incident. I don't know how it could not be. But, yeah, there was that crash. That was a lot. He drives angry and crashes in Vegas. Joshua crashes with Lewis at the end of the Abu Dhabi, the last race in the movie. Just a unnecessary amount of crashing, but probably one of the most relatable parts was at the very end, when it's the final lap and Sonny is leading the race. And he's locked in. That motherfucker really locked in. And the pit crew's like, what's going on? What's he doing? He's like, he's flying. And let me tell you, when you're on the, good tires, fresh tires, one lap of fuel, and you're just banging in that lap, you are flying. The car's on rails. Shit feels good. Very relatable. I'd give it a 4 out of 5 movie. Cheesy ass love trope. Cheesy ass villain trope. Quite unnecessary, but I mean, I get it. It's got to have some story other than Formula One. It can't all be about Formula One. But I digress. Movie was okay. Go see it in theaters. I wouldn't recommend seeing it anywhere else, but in theaters or your uncle's expensive sound system, whatever he's got. So, jumping into the race weekend here, the Austrian Grand Prix has been extended until 2041. That's a little crazy to think about. 2041. Can you even imagine 2041 right now? Anywho, I don't think there's much other news outside of that, and maybe the F1 premiere in New York City, to which every driver was there, except for Max Verstappen, who admitted that, I think he reported to The Sun or something, that he's just not a fan of the red carpet and the random people he's never met, and the tight tuxedos, and all the bullshit that comes along with it. Very respectable. Friday practice kicks off with George Russell topping the timesheets, followed by Max and Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris sat out for this practice session for someone named Alex Dunn, who set a very competitive time to finish 4th in that session, behind Oscar Piastri, which, for someone's first time really in an first Formula One appearance, be it a practice session, to finish 4th. Not too far off behind the other car's driver. Not bad. Not gonna lie, I still don't really know who Alex Dunn is. Nor do I care. Lando would come back, though, to top the last 2 remaining practice sessions. There wasn't much to these practice sessions, as it was really just a bunch of spins, such as the high-speed nature of the track. Qualifying was very exciting, though, especially if you are a Lando Norris fan, because he set a stonking lap to take pole. The lap was a 1:03.971, which was about a half-second clear of Charles Leclerc in P2. This was the largest quali gap of the season, apparently. Oscar Piastri took 3rd in what could have been better, but Pierre Gasly spun. Yay! Right at the final turn, which would fuck up Max later, but I'll discuss that in a minute. Actually, I'll discuss it right now. So, yeah, Max, despite struggling with the car all weekend, was looking like he could have had a lap. Like he wasn't gonna get in the top 3 or nothing. But I mean, he could have qualified maybe better than the 7th he was in. But yellow sector 3, so couldn't do any better than that. Right in front of him, in the sister Red Bull car, Liam Lawson having his best ever qualifying finish in 6th place. Speaking of best ever qualifying finishes, Gabriel Bortoleto gets into Q3. What? Gabriel Bortoleto in Q3? Which is funny because Nico Hulkenberg, I think he started like dead ass last, P20. But yeah, Gabby Bortoleto. I was questioning the upgrades that Sauber brought, and I thought it was maybe a little track specific or something, but honestly, they're not looking too bad now. They're looking like they could definitely at least scrape 8th place by the end of the season. I think that sounds reasonable. But yeah, Gabby Bortoleto, 8th place. Where he finishes qualifying. And Kimi Antonelli in 9th, and I think Fernando Alonso was in 10th. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely too sure. But let's get into the race. Someone didn't even start the race, and that was Kermit the Frog himself, Carlos Sainz, who locked in first gear at the start of the formation lap. Much like the, how I was talking about earlier, how Brad Pitt in the movie stalled in the pit lane at Silverstone. It was just like that. And by the time he caught up and pulled into the pit lane to start, guess what? His brakes caught on fire. Both the rear brakes, them shits were... They were smoking. Your boy was at work during this, trying to watch it on his phone. And I gotta sneak away a little to do it. And when I found out this was it brought out an 18-minute red flag. Dude, I was pissed. It's already hard enough to take time out of your work day to watch Formula One on your phone. And then there's an 18-minute red flag. I mean, all I really want to see is the first, 2 or 3 laps. But an 18 goddamn minute red flag, dude. Because they already ran a lap under the formation lap, and then they'd have to subsequently do another one after the red flag, the total number of laps done in the race was brought down from 71 to 70. And yeah, the race restarts. And Lando leads. Not too bad. Didn't botch the start like he tends to do. Oscar, who started P3, did I mention how he was pissed off from qualifying? Something about, Alpine finding another way to fuck him over. Because Gasly spun in the last corner. Well, I guess the other half of this, what I'm referring to, would have to do with the incident with Colapinto at the end of the race, but I will talk about that later. So yes, Oscar gets the jump, which he needed to do. You got to make those moves at turn 1, or else if he'd have gotten stuck behind Charles Leclerc, it'd have just been a race over from there. Lando surely would have just soared off into the distance, but by the time they got to turn 3, everything was looking pretty peachy. Until Kimi Antonelli. Kimi. Caught way too much goddamn speed and slipstream going into turn 3. I know I've certainly done that before in the video game. Because when they're all bunched up like that, the drivers they'll brake surprisingly early into turn 3. I don't know. But then he hits Max of all people, of all goddamn people, to just dog shit lock up into. Right into the rear right wheel of Max Verstappen. Remember how I said I was at work and my day was already kind of fucked up from that 20-minute delay? And then had a 20-minute delay just to see my favorite driver get knocked out at turn 3? Ruined my day. Kimi Antonelli will receive a 3-place grid penalty for Silverstone and 2 points added to his super license. He went to Red Bull Hospitality after to apologize. That's sweet. Max certainly wouldn't have gotten a podium, but damn it if it wouldn't have been nice to see him duke it out with George and George and the Ferraris. This championship is kind of fucking over. This is his first DNF since Australia 2024 when that rear brake caught on fire, thus ending his 31 race streak of points finishes. Safety car comes back in, and as per expected, the two McLarens sail off into the distance. And I mean, they really sailed off onto the distance. I think by the end of the race, Oscar Piastri was 20 seconds ahead of the nearest other team driver. Everybody else behind the McLarens immediately after the safety car went straight into tire management mode, which really goes to show how sweet those McLarens are on their tires. Good for them. Trying to go sweet on their tires. Good old Fernando Alonso and Liam Lawson, we find out rather early, are going for a one-stop, which in the heat of this race and just how shitty Pirelli tires have been recently was a bit of a bargain, but spoiler alert, works pretty well for the both of them. Things were working pretty well for Alex Albon, who was tearing it up through the field. I think he got as high as 6th place before he inevitably retired again. No, not the Williams. Once again, Alex Albon with like his 3rd DNF in a row or something. It's always some shit, dude. Williams, they were really hot at the start, let me tell you, but they have fallen off. Ooh, is James Vowles washed? Probably. The McLaren boys are really duking it out, playing DRS tag. And I'm not sure if it was just the commentary hype or commentators hype, but it felt like they were going to make a contact at any minute. I mean, just all the screaming that, like, what was it, Martin Brundle and them were doing? Alex Jax, however you pronounce his name. And that giant lockup from Oscar. Brilliant clean racing from the both of them, and I mean, good on the team for letting them race. Even though they said, you can race, but don't get too racy. Which goes to show pretty much just how the state of McLaren at the moment, when they gotta tell their drivers, like, yeah, you two can fuck around, but like, don't get crazy. So yeah, not much else happens in the race outside of the fight in the top two. Lewis Hamilton is forced by Ferrari to pit against his will. I think he was insisting on trying to stay out and maybe get a one-stop going. Eke out his tires. He must have had to have felt the tires were still pretty good if he was wanting to stay out, but they said no, we box, and it's just once again, another obscure strategy call from the Ferrari pit wall when they already pretty much had third and fourth place on lockdown. So what does it matter anyway? And all they wanted to do was complete the race that they had made in the simulations. It wasn't about, and which is, I think that's part of their problem, is they're so insistent on going by what the simulations are saying about the race, rather than thinking about what's happening right now. Sometimes you don't gotta be Mr. Right, but you just gotta be Mr. Right now. And that's not what Ferrari can do. They just can't do it. I don't know. Yuki had a terrible fucking race. Pretty much all of Red Bull had a terrible fucking race. But Yuki was dead, like 30 seconds. He was last, and 30 seconds behind the car in front. He got caught up fighting with Stroll, which caused damage and a penalty. He was fighting with Colapinto, which, oh god, Yuki, the last thing you need right now is fighting with those goddamn Argentinian bastards. Anyways, this fight with Colapinto ended up causing Colapinto to almost run Oscar Piastri completely off the track, which he then got a 5-second penalty for, which I don't think does any justice for just the fact that, Oscar really was, I think he was on 4-lap fresher tires. Not that it really made a total difference, but had he not gotten slowed up by Yuki and Franco dilly-dallying, he could have been on the DRS for Lando by the last lap. I don't know. Nico Hülkenberg, however, started dead last and got to P9. That's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and get straight into the top 10. Because didn't dick happen in this race. Top 10. Lando Norris with his third win of 2025. And bringing the gap to Piastri down to just 15 points. In second place, Oscar Piastri was not his best race, but holds the championship lead. In third place, Charles Leclerc. Ferrari needed something to go right. And to qualify second and finish third seems about right for Charles Leclerc at this point in time. And in fourth place, we have Lewis Hamilton, who held his position all race. Respectable drive. About as expected. Just like I said with Charles Leclerc. The Ferraris kind of just hold position these days. They're not fighting nobody. Speaking of fighting nobody, fifth place, George Russell. Anonymous race, just like the Ferraris. Probably wasn't fighting anybody because it was way too hot for that Mercedes to function out there. In sixth place, Liam Lawson with a career best finish. He definitely needed this confidence boost, considering Silverstone is a pretty make or break track for the Red Bull family, but I'll get into that later. Seventh place, Fernando Alonso, with a season high finish. Would he like more? Sure. But this man will take what he can get, dude. Ever since Aston Martin brought those upgrades, he's been kind of feeling himself. And Lance Stroll certainly hasn't. Feeling themselves, Gabby Bortoleto and Nico Hülkenberg, and the kick team, Formula 1 kick team Sauber team in general, feeling themselves because in 8th place, Gabby Bortoleto with his first ever points finish. I think this was the first Brazilian to ever score since 2017. I think that's, and I want to say that's a very accurate fact. Nico Hulkenberg caps off this double points finish for Sauber. The first race they've had a double points finish since. That I couldn't tell you. But congratulations to both of them, man. Really making me fucking look dumb as shit with that predictions video I made. But also, who could have expected that Sauber would have brought an upgrade package, about 10 races in, that would see them just jump from back markers to kind of best of the rest here and there. That's wild. But, anywho, 10th place, Esteban Ocon. Not too much surprise here. Haas, in recent years, seems to usually get away with a point or two in Austria. If I'm not mistaken, Mick Schumacher, he either almost got his first points in Austria, or he was about to get his first points in Austria, and there was some shit. I don't remember. But yeah, I think 2018, Haas got a double points finish in Austria. I don't know, this tends to be good for them, so congratulations to Haas for getting 1 point. What's next, you might ask? Well, Silverstone it is, on the 4th of July weekend. How British is that, to have the British Grand Prix on the same weekend that Americans are celebrating their independence from them? Hysterical. Lando Norris will certainly want to be carrying momentum to his home Grand Prix. Big news. Red Bull Junior driver and Swedish Indian who rides under the British flag, Arvid Lindblad, will drive potentially one of the 4 Red Bull cars during FP1 at Silverstone. Having just driven one of the V-Carbs at Silverstone a week or two ago to even obtain his super license. Before I get into my Silverstone predictions, I'll review my Canada predictions, and let me tell you, they sure as hell weren't good. I predicted that Williams would get a top 5, maybe a podium. And shit, dude, hold on. Now, let's be honest. Alex Albon was riding in 6th at one point. And with the way he was going through the field, he could have been top 5, dude. Alex Albon definitely could have probably caught up, probably could have chased up, probably could have farted up on the Ferraris or something. Almost, but no, not even close, actually. Both cars DNF'd. Carlos Sainz barely even started the race. My second prediction was that Max would win, maybe at least 2nd place. No sirree, Bob. That hope was killed after turn 2. Right? That hope lasted about 3 turns. And my third prediction, I said that Lando will fail again, much like he did in Canada. No, in fact, it was quite the opposite. Once he got in the car, he topped every session and then won the race. So it goes to see how he's taking things from what happened in Canada. So yeah, my 3 predictions for Silverstone are, firstly, that Oscar Piastri will win on Lando's home turf. Now, when they were on Australia, Oscar Piastri not really crashed out, but had a big major error and let Lando win. I think maybe the opposite's going to happen here on Lando's home race. But I don't know, every time I seem to keep saying, Lando, something bad will happen to Lando, it tends to not happen, but what can I say? Maybe using the power of contradiction or reverse psychology, my second prediction will be that Max will struggle significantly. But it could just be the fact that this car hasn't been really great setup-wise, and the car is not particularly great in high, flowy corners such as Beckett's, and Cobb's. But we'll see if he can even finish top 5. But yeah, and third prediction, Liam Lawson will score again in some capacity. But I think that if he scores in Silverstone, we could possibly see himself getting a contract extension for 2026, because if you know, in recent years, whenever Red Bull has a junior driver or anyone who's not in one of the 4 cars already drive a car at Silverstone, that person's probably going to end up in the car, one of the cars, the very next season. Now, there's a whole lot of debate as to whether or not, if Yuki's out at Red Bull, Isaac Hadjar steps up and goes to Red Bull and thus moves Arvid Lindblad into Isaac's seat, and then Liam remains at RB, because no, I don't really think that I don't think that Red Bull would, have Liam drop him and then get him back just because he's doing a little well at VCARB. That doesn't make any sense. So, talks are, there was all these rumors that Yuki would go to Aston Martin at some point. But now I think rumors are saying it could be Cadillac. Imagine Yuki in a Cadillac. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, Liam Lawson will have a good performance. Remind Red Bull why he should still be in the sport. I can only just see this kind of going downhill for Yuki, and God forbid that Isaac Hadjar actually gets put into that second Red Bull seat next year. I don't think anyone's ready for that. And I'm out of here. Thank you for listening. Silverstone next week. I will definitely try to be watching. I will be on vacation in the big Florida. BB shout out to the Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Touch yourself. Bye-bye.